and this is part of the camping part of what I have, because this, you know, is an emergency survival thing. Don't know if you're gonna need this much, but this is basically a portable stove. I used to use this a lot when I went camping, because it's very convenient to have this. You can cook on it. Oh right, I got a saw here too. I forgot this. This can be pretty useful. Saw to cut down, you know, obviously trees and stuff to make fire. But basically how this works is that you got your propane tank, and you got your lower half, and then you have the upper part, which this is where you connect the propane tank, and on top is it's a gas, like a gas like grill, I guess you can say. You put your propane tank here, and you attach the other part to the top, and boom, you got you got a little stove, portable stove. And in here, obviously, I keep a lighter and matches so you can light it up. Again, that can fall under more camping than emergency situation, because you know, if you need a 72-hour survival pack, you really don't need to have, you know, a way to cook things like so fancy, I guess you can say. All right, next, pair of scissors. Scissors come in very handy. Make sure that you wrap the top so you don't cut through your bag or anything. Paracord, definitely. So 150 feet paracord. This is paracord 550 military style. These have so many different uses. He says here, contains 7 removable inner strands for emergency fishing line, sewing thread, and other emergency or survival situations. Paracord is definitely a must. Always have paracord. Duct tape. I just recently saw a Mythbusters episode where they survived on the island for, what, 4 or 5 days with only duct tape. It is the most amazing thing to have duct tape with you. Duct tape is like one of the most awesomest things you can have. I don't have a lot. I just have one roll, but even one roll is important to have. It's light, so it doesn't really take up weight or too much space. So duct tape. You know, duct tape is the cure for everything. I always keep an extra tank of gas for the torch lighter, so in case I ever need some more, I got more gas. This, don't know if really, unless you have a sharpening stone that comes with one of your knives, which I'll get to that now on the survival knife part, but this is a knife sharpener. You basically just run the blade through here, and it'll sharpen any blade that you have. It's light, it doesn't really, you know, take up much weight again. So that's something that maybe you might want to consider taking. Poncho. Poncho's good for, obviously, water. If it's raining, put on a poncho, and it'll, you know, protect you from the elements. You can use it as a makeshift sleeping bag. If you have 2 of them, you can make a tent. And you can also use it just on the ground. Poncho is good to have. Alright, I always carry beef jerky. And there's 2 reasons. Number 1, it's a food that will last a real long time in your pack. And this, combined with my fishing gear, I can take strips of this and put it on my fishing line and use it to catch fish. So, you know, it's good for yourself to maintain some protein in your body, but at the same time, it's good for fishing too. So always have a couple, maybe strips of beef jerky. Ball cap. Definitely a ball cap. This should have been covered in the beginning with the bandana, but this is important to have just, you know, some kind of cap, some kind of head cover. Okay, this is a mosquito net. You can put it on your head, and it's like this big veil that goes around your head all the way down to your neck. If mosquitoes get really, really bad, you know, if the bug spray is just not enough, you got this as a backup mosquito net. Now this don't know if everyone's gonna have a need for this. I think it's a pretty important tool. It's an entrenching tool. It's basically a shovel, a collapsible shovel. You basically just take it up. And then you got a shovel, which even can be doubled as a weapon. I mean, you see the serrated edges here and here. You know, it makes a really good stabbing and a defense weapon if you need to. But it's definitely good to always have a shovel, and shovels have to be heavy duty in order to withstand the constant shoveling. You buy a cheapie and that thing will break instantly. So if you can spare the weight, or if you would rather keep it on your person versus in your pack, then I would definitely recommend you getting an entrenching tool. You know, and you can get these good old-fashioned, you know, U.S. Army ones really cheap, and they work very, very well. Well, this is a set of binoculars. It's not really the best binoculars at all in the world, but hey, they do the job. You can see from some distance. Maybe, you know, if you need to go hunting or whatever, binoculars are a good thing to have. An axe. This is a heavy axe. It does have some weight to it. Obviously, that means it'll be an effective axe, but it does carry weight on your pack. I mean, this thing alone is pretty heavy, so you got to make the decision whether or not you can be okay with just a machete, or if you need, you know, if you're gonna be really chopping wood out there, you need an axe. So, and I think that's it for everything except for the tarp. The tarp. You need to tarp for protecting yourself again against the elements. Poncho is good for you as your person, but this is good for putting on an area on the floor or above you to protect you from the rain. It's definitely a tarp, and again, they are light. You can lay them flat. They fit right in the back of your pack, so it's not a bad idea to have a tarp. And that pretty much covers everything as far as the pack is. That's everything that we took every single thing out. So that was all in the survival pack. It all fits in there just fine. The one thing I did want to mention was the survival knife situation. And since I buried it underneath all this stuff, I got it. Here we go. Okay. So a lot of people have, you know, their own ideas of what a survival knife is. This is what they consider a survival knife. You know, it's one of these. This is a Rambo survival knife. It's has the, you know, compass and the you can take this off, and it has all the compass and the different tools. Well, tools, no, the fishing line, all that, the matches, stuff inside. But notice something about this knife. It's hollow, right? The blade connects to the tip of the handle underneath it. Like there's literally a screw that just holds in this. You need that hollow to have the ability to put a tube in there, right? And you have a compass. But I remember when I was a kid that I did a little contest with a friend of mine, and he, you know, I just got this knife. My dad just bought this knife for me, or he bought it for himself, but then he just handed it to me. And he looked at it, and he was like, "Oh, let's just look at that small knife. Look at my knife. You know, I have this big knife compared to yours, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but this knife is a true survival knife." And he's like, "You know, no, it's not. Whatever." So I said, "Okay, let's do a test." There was an old rusted out car in the middle of the Everglades that I said, "Okay, let's go ahead and bury this knife in the hood of the car." Now I know that's not the best thing to do, and in retrospect, you know, my dad would have killed me if he would have found out. But I went ahead and grabbed this knife and just put it straight through the hood of the car. Right? Obviously, it held. You know, it's still here. And he got his $15 brand new survival knife, right? And he did the same thing. He plunged it straight down into the hood, and the knife snapped right here. It literally just broke off. Like if you look at it from this angle, it split off. You know, he was pretty pissed at me, but you know, the survival knife is doesn't have to be a big knife. Doesn't have to be a knife that has huge serrated edges. Which actually this can be a detriment, because when you insert a knife of this size with these serrated edges, it could get stuck in whatever you're trying to. You pull this back, and this is just gonna be stuck inside of all that. These are really sharp. And this, this knife has a serrated edge, but it's very small. It's, just enough to cut a little bit. It's not much. But the thing about this knife is that it's a solid, thick knife that goes all the way down to the base. This is a Randall. These are made in Orlando. These are handmade knives. They're really good knives. They're sturdy. I mean, these knives can be pretty expensive, but and it doesn't look it. It looks like a very simple knife, but as a survival knife, there's really no other knife that can possibly beat something like this. I mean, this knife is thicker. This little Randall is thicker than this huge Rambo knife. So a survival knife, again, does not have to be this big monstrosity. It just has to be something that has a full tang, something strong, something sturdy, something that you feel that you can have a good grip on it, and obviously something that could resist the elements. So that's just my little rant about the survival knife. And according to, regarding that, this particular one has something that's very important. It has your honing stone on the sheath itself. That's always good to have out there. Like if you have something like this, and you don't have to take a knife sharpener, so you have your honing stone out there, and you're pretty set to go. And that's it. Aside from everything I showed you, you do carry stuff on your person. Like I said, if you do have firearms, more than likely you're going to be carrying those on you. Maybe keep ammo in the pack as a spare. But yeah, that pretty much does it. And I thank you for watching.